Coming at you from Wellington, New Zealand on a rainy Sunday evening. We're back with some vinyl finds. I've got 7 records here that I've picked up in October, November. This is probably the last video I'm making for the year. I'm off up to Auckland in about a week and a half. I haven't seen my family in over a year due to COVID lockdowns and restrictions and stuff. So yeah, this will be the last video, I think. I have about 7 or 8 things here. I guess just get straight into it. There we go. Number 1. This is a record that has recently been repressed, but weirdly I managed to get the 2013 press of this. This is a record that a lot of people showed when it came out, and there was a lot of hype about the reissue of it. For whatever reason, I didn't check it out at the time. I think I was knee deep in my jazz phase, and this was something I sort of discovered about a couple of years ago, and it had been sort of out of print, and then it announced that it got reissued. It's been reissued right now at the moment. You can get a copy, but I weirdly found this on a sort of semi-sketchy website called deepdiscount.com, and I got this copy sent to me, and it arrived. This is a really interesting record. If you know it, you'll know that it's very hard to describe. The album is called Kakashi, and it's by an artist called Yasuaki Shimizu. It came out in 1982. It's kind of a blend of a whole bunch of styles, and it really, really is a blend of things. You've got bits of electronic music, electronic pop music, ambient passages. There's lots of reggae and dub sounds in here, lots of horns, some really interesting out there experimentation. It's kind of uncategorizable. I don't even know how to describe this. It's super interesting. I really love this record. I don't know what to say, but I think it's really fantastic. I don't know how it passed me by, but I definitely remember lots of people talking about this when the reissue came out. It's super fantastic. It originally came out on Palto Flats and We Release Whatever the Fuck We Want Records, and I'm pretty sure the reissue or the repress is on the same label. So yeah, please check it out. Get it while you can, because this was kind of reissued and then sold out pretty much straight away. Ta-da! It's so satisfying when you slide the thing in. Deepdiscount.com. I was pretty sure it was never going to arrive, because USPS recently announced they're not shipping to New Zealand anymore, which is a bit of a pain. But it arrived through USPS, even though they said they weren't shipping. The other one I also got was this record here, which also one of those exact same ones where it got repressed by Mr. Bongo in, I want to say, like 2011. And I remember people raving about it, and I just wasn't on the train at the time. This is originally came out, it could be 72. I haven't done my research, I'm sorry. And I remember lots of people have raved about this too. It is an amazing Mexican piece of music. It's also very hard to describe. I guess you would say traditional Mexican instruments and sounds mixed with synthesizers and electronic stuff. I'm sorry, this is not a super eloquent description, I know. But yeah, look at that beautiful gatefold there. I love that artwork. It's absolutely fantastic. This is a Mr. Bongo repress, and they've done an incredible job on it. It sounds amazing. There's a nice little insert here that has some listening suggestions. Listen to this music in a quiet place, isolated from any noise. Sit and make sure your spine is straight. Breathe deep and slowly, and without pressure, hold your breath while counting from 1 to 10. Live this experience if possible with the whole family, and then discuss. Yeah, it's a very music for the head. It's very focused. It's very spiritual. It's very I guess it takes your attention. It's very hard to do anything else apart from sit and listen to this. It's really beautiful, really entrancing, I guess you would say. The artist is called Pérez, and I'll put the title here because I cannot pronounce it. But I guess the short version is Mexico, Mágico, Cósmico. Beautiful. This is lovely. You can't really see this, but it's really nicely embossed. Yeah, I think this was one of the first or very early Mr. Bongo reissues. Okay, one that I had put off getting until a friend had this locally. This is Pyramid Pieces 1, Modal and Eco Jazz from Australia, 1969 to 1979. Now this is put out by the absolutely wonderful Round Table Records. Check out the roundtable.bandcamp.com. They have some amazing stuff. I think they do a lot of interesting reissues. That some stuff I'd never heard of until it got reissued, and then other things I'm like, oh wow, they reissued that. That's amazing. So what should I say about this? I will say first up, they've just reissued or released Pyramid Pieces 2, the companion piece to this, which I will be grabbing. When this came out, I wasn't super keen on it for a really childish and stupid way, and that was because I remember seeing a lot of these artists or albums in I guess I'm not going to say dollar bins, but when I lived in Australia for sort of 7 years or 8 years, these sort of records, some of them weren't, because some of these are actually really rare to find, like the Jazz Co-op release. But there was a lot of Australian jazz around, and a lot of it was sort of wasn't particularly cool, or people weren't really talking about it, and some of it was pretty crap, and some of it was really good. And I guess the moment I saw this put on a compilation, I kind of thought, here we go, now it's officially become cool. And I didn't really understand the reference to Modal and Eco Jazz, and I think I kind of decided wasn't going to bother. But after reading up on it a little bit more and getting my head around it, I kind of realized I should really get this. It reflects. There's a lot of really interesting music on this. It kind of reminds me of my time living in Melbourne. But yeah, it's a really good listen. There's some really interesting stuff going on here. The Jazz Co-op track, A La Coltrane, is exactly what it says, A La Coltrane. You've got a John Sangster track, which was called Explosion of the Sun, which I think was outtake or wasn't released on the Once More Around the Sun soundtrack. Galapagos Duck track is okay for me. The Brian Graham Quintet, Wildflowers, is an amazing track. I kind of already knew that piece. Worth a listen. Check it out on Bandcamp. I do really like the Round Table. I think they're kind of, I guess a lot of people, I remember they sort of really came to my attention when they put out the Dream Sequence reissue years back. I also picked up from my friend who was selling it this wonderful record here, brown-theplanets. I will admit that I'm a big, massive fan of Carlton Streets. I'm really, really happy that I have an original of that, but that has also been reissued, which you should snap up immediately. I had seen this cover before, but I never heard it. I don't think there's many clips online about it. So I did buy this kind of on a whim. I absolutely love the artwork. I love the cover on here. This was a dead stock or unopened, unplayed release of this wonderful album. Brian Brown, born in Melbourne. What can I say? What does this remind me of? It reminds me in parts, I guess. I mean, in terms of where it sits on a jazz spectrum, it's more in an ECM camp, which I know isn't really very descriptive, but it's very, I guess, emotive. I mean, it's more avant-garde. It's more out. It's not free jazz. It's kind of composed avant-garde. It definitely reminds me of some of the stuff with Harold Anderson, Jan Gabarek, Dave Holland, those sort of records. There's lots of feelings and textures, especially in the drum patterns and stuff like that in here. It's really good. I really enjoy it. Actually, the track that really blows me away is probably not one that a lot of people will go to, but it's the track called Neptune, which is the first track on side B. It just sounds like a really stoned out, mystical, spacey, strange, I don't know, it just sounds like you're in a trance. It's really, really fantastic. It came out, and I think I want to say 85 or 88. I think 85. There's definitely, it does have a slight 80s sound to it, but it's really, really fantastic. Some really interesting stuff going on. Really, really happy with it. So there you go. That is Brown, the planets. That's it for the Australian segment of this video. This one is, I'm not going to say it's a mind blower or anything super essential, but it is a really nice record. This is a EP released by the artist known as Greenhouse. The album is called 6 Songs for Invisible Gardens. Now, I'm not going to say it's mind-blowing because it's really nice ambient music. It sounds like a cross between the Virginia Astley from Gardens Where We Feel Secure and Brian Eno, the ambient series, I guess is the easier way to put it. There's a little bit of Cosmic Kraut keyboards, like a sort of a Rodalius kind of sound in here too. It's kind of a really, really nice blend of all three of those. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the easiest way to describe this. It's beautiful ambient with, it sounds like a summer garden in parts. Yeah, I really like this. I had found this through, it was either YouTube or Spotify, and I played it a lot in the background when I was working. So I was really happy to find this in my local store just down the road, actually at the Flying Nun store just down the road from me. So yeah, I grabbed it. I was really happy with that. Yeah, it's just really beautiful songs based around invisible gardens, I guess. Yeah, just give it a listen. It's very relaxing, very calming. It's just nice to put on in the background or something when you want to relax a little bit more. Greenhouse, I think this came out in 2020. All right, what do we got here? This is the new Now Again compilation, Tickets for Doomsday. It is a companion piece to the Forge Your Own Chains comp from a few years ago, which is absolutely outstanding. And that compilation ended up, spawning a whole bunch of reissues of those albums from those artists. Yeah, heavy psychedelic funk and soul ballads and dirges. This is again really up there. It's as good as that compilation as put out by Now Again. Egon has a very specific way of getting tracks that sound, they have a sound to them. I don't know how to describe it. It's very cohesive. Yeah, you've kind of got apocalyptic gospel on here, psych stuff, African beats, stuff from, is it from Israel? There's a whole bunch of, it's just, I don't know how to describe it. I really like it. It's got an amazing feel to it. I am disappointed that this doesn't come with any sort of insert or nothing about the artist. I mean, everything on here, I've heard two of the artists, one being Paternoster and one being Kurosh here, but apart from that, I hadn't heard of any of these people. So it would have been nice to have got, a bit of context. But check out the track Golden Wing, if that doesn't blow you away, the first track here. And I really like the track Paradise Lost Upheaval, which is like a funky gospel thing. But everything sounds so like almost claustrophobic, or I kind of tied in with the Tickets for Doomsday thing. There's some really end of the world sounding stuff on here. I think this is really beautiful. Yeah, amazing. Really happy with that. But yeah, again, in terms of like the packaging, it's always worth Now Again. It's really minimal. The card is kind of cheap. They haven't put much effort into the packaging at all. The record sounds fine. I'm sure the recordings aren't great. But yeah, that's my biggest gripe. I say it every time I show a Now Again record. They just don't, there's no quality control from a packaging point of view. Like, who releases a compilation of really obscure songs from around the world, really obscure artists from around the world? Most likely no one's ever heard of these people, and then not have anything in it telling you about what these pieces of music are. I don't know. I just, it's very strange. We'll mix it up a bit. This is a 7-inch here by New Genea, which used to be known as New Guinea. They have renamed themselves. This is really, really amazing Italian disco funk. Yeah, this is something that I had been spinning on, I think, on Spotify. I put it on Spotify for ages. It's just a really summery, groovy thing. This is me willing summer into existence here in New Zealand by trying to play this. But yeah, it's really great. For some reason, this is kind of sold out already. It's getting quite hard to find. But yeah, it's really groovy, really funky. I love it. It's just a vibe, I guess, is the way you would put it. Yeah, and I really love that cover there. That's kind of one of the big selling points for me to get the 7 of it. Yeah, super cool. We're getting there. 2 more things, and then I'll leave you alone. I did pick up the reissue of Embryo-Opa. Yeah, one that's kind of evaded me for a long time. The thing I love about it, I mean, I don't love it as much as I thought I was going to love it. I think I really am drawn to the later Embryo stuff where they've really fleshed out and become a bit more technical. I guess it's very rock, it's very sloppy, it's very loose, it's really heavy, which is all well and good and great. I think there's some amazing songs and then some not so amazing songs. The highlight is obviously the bass playing is just so heavy and crunchy and blocky, and yeah, it's a great record. It is really heavy, but it kind of sounds a bit, I don't know if sloppy is the right word for it. I guess it's meant to be, but God, this is a terrible description. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a monster. I would say that definitely, but I think compared to where they go, this is definitely a bit looser and a little bit unfocused, I would say. I mean, I do like it. I always laugh when the bit "Soul is Dead" comes on. If you know what I'm talking about, you'll laugh. Yeah, I guess you would call it. It's krautrock, but it's definitely is more psychedelic, heavy stuff. There we go. Do you want me to give it a rating? I would say 7.3 out of 10. Maybe I should start doing ratings on these albums. Okay, the last one is the Human Instinct box set, which came out on Little Wing of Refugees. I want to say, God, can't remember. There's a local pop-up record van here in Wellington. I think. What am I talking about? I'm completely over this. This came out in '88, I'm pretty sure. And he had a copy of this box set in here. I got it for a really, really, really amazing price. And it's the 3 albums, Burning Up Years, Stone Guitar, and Pins in it. I don't know. I mean, here in New Zealand, they're kind of a legendary psychedelic garage rock band. Amazing jams, amazing playing, amazing drumming. Just really heavy, really powerful. I'm not sure how well known they are overseas. I do know Dylan at Noble Records is a really big fan. I think he's after this actually. But yeah, the records are kind of crazy impossible to get. I did manage to find an original of Burning Up Years. But you know, those records now, you know, are sort of like $200, $300 or more each. So it just makes sense to get the box set. The only downside is the records just come in black sleeve. You don't get the original artwork, but I don't mind so much. It does come with this really beautiful booklet here. Yeah, so really happy to get that. It's I guess you would just call it blues based psychedelic garage rock, really heavy, really amazing playing. Yeah, Human Instinct. I'm really happy to get that. It kind of means I don't have to bother, you know, I don't have to get the records, but I was always on the lookout for the other 2. But I'm really happy with these, and they sound great. That's all. Yeah, coming up on 20 minutes. I guess that's the end. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around in 2021. It's been another weird year. I kind of feel like I've just dragged myself through this year, to be honest. Who knows where we'll be? I don't know. Yeah, that's all. See you next year.